Hello, and welcome to Country Sports TV. I am very concerned about the possible lead ban for game shooting. We reported back on this when the shooting organisations got together early in the year and all signed up to a voluntary ban on lead for game shooting in September. I was hoping because of the lockdown that this would be deferred for a year, as we're not working normally at the moment. But I don't think that seems to be the case. Now, let me tell you some home truths. At the time of the lead ban for wildfowling, I was working for the civil service. Worked in Bristol for 6 years, and I worked for the Department of the Environment. I was not on the wildlife division, but because I was the only guy with a shotgun certificate out of the 1900 staff in the department, in the whole building, I was asked from time to time to go and advise the wildlife department. And in around 1998, I had a phone call from my boss in my office, asked me that the wildlife manager wanted to see me. He didn't like the idea that I could go and help another department. You only go on your tea break here, don't take long, Office politics. It was rife in the civil service. Empire building and office politics. Unbelievable. Anyway, I phoned the lady up, a doctor, I can't remember what her name was, and she was a doctor of zoology. And she was in the biodiversity section that were dealing with the lead ammunition issue. She said, could I come and say hello? And I said, yeah, at 10 o'clock on my tea break, I'll come down and say hello. And I went in the office, sat down, and she handed me a letter from BASC from a guy called Dr. Harradine. Now, I can't remember it word for word, and I never got a copy of it, but the basic thing that I remember is that John Harradine was agreeing with everything that the WWT and RSB were saying to try and get a lead ban. He did not disagree with any of it. And he said, the problem we have is trying to persuade our members to give up lead. So in 1998, what did they do? They had a voluntary ban. They had a voluntary ban for wildfowling for a year. After that time, BASC agreed to the lead ban, and the Secretary of State at the time could sign a statutory instrument, not an Act of Parliament. Parliament has not agreed on the issue to ban lead. It was done as a statutory instrument. That's my first argument, is it should be an Act of Parliament. So, to put in a statutory instrument, both parties have to agree on it. And then all the Secretary of State has to do is sign it. And it happens. And that's what happened in 1990. We got the lead ban for wildfowling. The wildlife manager in the department told me, why are BASC not fighting your corner? I didn't have an answer. I said, I don't know. I thought they were. If you can get BASC, she told me, to disagree with a lead ban and say no, it will not happen. We have not got enough scientific proof to bring in a lead ban through an Act of Parliament. It would never pass the Commons committees. Now we jump to today. And what have we got today? We've got a voluntary ban on lead in September for game shooting, signed up by the shooting organisations. Now remember, the government under Tony Blair set up the lead ammunition group with John Swift as its chairman. I believe the plan was to get the shooting organisations to agree to it then. And then the Secretary of State could have signed a statutory instrument to bring a total lead ban in for everything. Luckily, Sir Barney Spurner walked from the Countryside Alliance. He walked. And because he walked, the others walked. And there was a split committee. The government could not then sign a statutory instrument. It would have needed an Act of Parliament. They did not have the parliamentary time, with all the Brexit thing going on at the time, and the Labour and Conservative parties in disarray. So no way were we ever going to get a lead ban by an Act of Parliament. So what do we do today? We have the same issue. The science has not changed. There is no proof that lead is a problem. The shooting organisations, who many of us are members of, should say no. And the simple answer, as one shooter keeps pestering me and saying, Ian, all you've got to do is ask them to prove it. Okay, prove it. You set up the lead ammunition group. They looked at the question. They couldn't prove it. So let's prove it. Even if you agree that we should give up lead, you shouldn't give up so easily. What you should say is, oh, I agree with the lead ban, I don't mind, but I would like to see an Act of Parliament. Let's have an Act of Parliament to ban lead for game shooting. Let's not leave it up to a minister signing a piece of paper. If you're going to bring a lead ban in, let's put it through Parliament. And there isn't enough scientific proof to get it through. The lead ammunition group has proven this. And the science has not changed. I don't believe steel is good for guns. I don't believe steel is good enough to kill animals. I've never said it wouldn't. I just said it's not as good as lead. I still think lead is the best thing. And people say, oh, the steel is in a plastic cupboard, it's not going to damage your barrels. The pressure that is caused by increasing the velocity of the cartridge forces the steel through the plastic. It is still possible that your barrels could be damaged by steel shot. Full stop. Anyway, Ian, Country Sports TV, if you're in a shooting organisation, get them to say no to a lead ban and let's have an Act of Parliament. Signing off. Goodbye.